Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy. I musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni. Nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 388th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, July 8th, 2021. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond and I'll be a host today. And of course, we're joined with Mr. Mayran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation. And I'd like to say first, before we begin, that we're not going to have a broadcast to KFTV today, but we do expect to be online next week for a broadcast from the studios of KFTV. And we look forward to that. So, Mr. Keshe, are you ready to go to deliver today's workshop?
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual. Wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers of Keshe Foundation Space Institute, we welcome you back to the 388th live session of this series of teachings. And it's becoming very interesting now how knowledge seekers or people who come to seek new knowledge refer to each session. Such and such a topic is in such and such a session number so and so. We have established the ground for what we call referring back to and expanding the knowledge. This is part of our work to bring knowledge freely accessible to everyone, that in time of need, one can decide how they can use the knowledge to their benefit, be it on the health, be it on the space, be it on producing anything or conditions for them to have a better life or creating better life for others. Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers has become the cornerstone of knowledge for many, many organizations. They learn from it, they add their knowledge to it, and they expand it in new dimensions and directions. We see a lot of usage of Keshe Foundation technology by different organizations and applications. And we have started asking them to join us to show how they use it, how they benefit by it, and how we can use this knowledge collectively to make a better life. In past nearly 2 years, we have targeted on the development and understanding of the inner system working of the man itself. As man was too physical, he was interested in the magraphs, in cups of life and everything else. But in essence, we try to bring you a new dimension, a new understanding, a new way of thinking about yourself, more than the physical dimension. Understanding that the physical dimension is controlled by a central station, it's called the soul of the man, which again itself is controlled by a central station, what we call the creator. In physical dimension, we connect ourselves through our emotion and through our brain to what we call our soul. And the same goes with our soul in position and dimension, connects itself to a higher dimension, more inner sanctums of life. In a way, if you look at it, we use what we call the physical soul and the cells of the physical brain of the man to, in a way, create a condition of interaction between the energies of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality, to give the physicality of the man a reaction gap, that how it will react to its environment. But at the same time, the same thing exists between the soul of the man and the soul of the creator. In that gap, what we call the brain, or the process of the conversion of the feels and emotions, both the creator and the man receive the same emotions. So in a way, we upgrade, we transform energy one level higher. In a way, what we see is we use the brain of the man in a much more condensed way to create a fast interaction between the energies of the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality of the man. And in that interaction, we create emotions or reactions. But the same thing exists, the soul of the man, what it receives from interaction of the emotion of the physicality, it receives and it transfers that in its position and condition in respect to the other souls. In a way, they're what are called the brain of the unicos, the brain of the universe. And in that process, it interacts with what we call the soul of the existence of the universe, the totality of the dimensions. In a way, our physical emotion creates a physical reaction in our physical body. But at the same time, as it transfers energy back to the soul of the man, that energy, that emotion, it creates a secondary emotion and reaction between the soul of the man and the soul of others and the totality of the unical soul, the soul of the creator. So in a way, now for the first time we understand every action has a reaction, and that reaction, it places us and positions us in the universal community. We decide how we interact, and then we decide to what extent that interaction, without us knowing, will dictate our future. When a man kills a man, then he thinks that's it. I'm a soldier, I'm being told to shoot. I'm killed. God, the soul has seen the other soul which is killed. Then that soul sets everything up for the soul of the man you have taken the life of to balance with your soul in the future. Out of nowhere, you lose your child. Get shot. Out of nowhere, you find a loss. And then you say, oh, this accident happened. There was no accident. There was no coincidence. The balance of the souls, the emotion of understanding, the emotion of the presence brings that condition of what are called balancing of the souls in respect to the soul of physicality and the emotion which has created that condition. This is why we forbid kingship, because in that process, one decides on other people's life which has no right to. The soul of the man has to be independent. Soul of the man has to be the king of itself, physicality, and the right of direction and motion with emotion of his creator, the bigger structure. In so many ways, mankind comes to understand there's a bigger picture. I work as a self-employed businessman, but I am actually a member of a big company. My wages are paid by their action and not just me thinking I run a plumbing job and I get paid. The whole structure is how we plumb our system to each other, how we allow the flow of the fields of what we call the water to go through the physicality of the man, through the blood of the man, to the emotion of the man, and then its interaction with the receives to the soul of the creator. In so many ways, mankind has always looked at his end, has never looked at the other end. When the rays of the sun radiate on earth, some of it, for what is created, rains back on the sun too. Then that creates the interaction between the earth and the sun and how things will take place. As a human being, we always looked at our own end. The interaction of the fields of the sun and earth creates light on earth. But that itself, those fields are not in one-way direction and dimension. Some of those fields get attracted back by fields of what we call the sun. And then the space gap between the sun and the earth becomes that brain cell, what we emotionally create. Many times in the dimension of the physical cosmology and what are called science of the cosmos, many scientists have never considered this. We always look at the light, what we see from our end. If that light is created, it's two-dimensional. The others on the other side see the light too. And so that's the information, that's the emotion that our light has created and gives back to them. If you understand this, then we understand the soul of the man shines in front of his creator. We are not the only one who see the beauty of the creator, but the emotion of our interaction with our creator shines on him too. This is what mankind, and in the future, in the space technology, will understand. This is where, if you understand it in a bigger dimension, and you can create that interaction, you travel on the feedback of that light to the creator, to the point of destination you want to go to. When a star shines on you, it's not that you only see the shining of the star. You shine in front of the star too. So you can use that feedback for travel back to the position and the dimension and direction. This becomes as part of the understanding collective and total understanding of the transportation, transmutation, and connection between the dimension of the soul of the man, the physicality of the man, man transporting itself through the dimension of the universe without burning any fuel. Because what we say is what we see is being seen too by the other side what we have looked at. The same strength as we have taken from the dimension, we can use to travel back to the dimension we want to be. In a way, mankind will learn new ways of traveling, new ways to connect the physicality and the soul of the man and understanding of the creation in the dimension of the physicality and the soul of the creator together. This part of the teaching is what will come to many of you, where we start bringing the dimension of the physicality, the dimension of the soul of the man, the understanding of the knowledge of the creation, the creator, transportation and transmutation, all together in one go. It's time for mankind to elevate not only his knowledge, not only his soul, but to understand how to interact, how to bring the two together to enjoy a new dimension in life. In that new dimension, in the world of the creation. In so many ways, gradually we'll introduce systems that allows you to see, to understand this transportation, to understand this new dimension, that while you have a brain interacting with the soul of physicality and the soul of the man, your soul of the man creates interaction with the soul of the universe, and it has a brain structure. And that interaction creates emotions. It creates motions and directions. And if one doesn't work, the other one works for it. In so many ways, if you look at the physical dimension of the man, we have the same process. We have a feedback. We have a condition that if one disbalances, one gets alarmed, one gets set off. In the body of the man, you have the blood circulation, which carries the emotion, and then you have the nerve system, which defines the interaction of physical dimension of the transmutation of the emotion to physicality. In so many ways, what we see is the same. One is gravitational and one is magnetical. And when the two disbalances, we see, we feel, and we understand the disbalance. When, for example, when you put your arm under your body and you block the blood vessels, we call it pins and needles. But where does it come from? The reality of it is that we disturb the balance flow of the one in respect to the other. The neural system receives its information, but the blood system does not carry that information, which usually does. So the difference between the two creates these electric shocks, what we call pins and needles. Now we understand this process, so we can understand further. We can call one gravitational and one magnetical, and they both have to be consistent. They both have to be in position and position of each other's information to be able to function correctly. This is where the mankind will come to learn he needs bigger dimension of understanding of even his own existence. Understanding the totality, understanding that the life of the man is replicated in every dimension and in every condition and every structure of the life. We can create conditions to show where it is, how it is. We can create systems, we can develop facilities for you to be able to understand it and see it. This is why, for example, in the enhancement units, we say this is where the physicality of the man meets the soul of the man, because we create a communication not only between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality, we facilitate a new dimension of existence that it can bring what we call, what is short for, what is short in understanding of the totality of the connection between the two systems. In so many ways, the newer space systems, the new understanding of the technology is very simple. It's us who has made it difficult for ourselves. In so many ways, the whole body of the man has to function correctly, that all the information transferred, translated, and acted upon becomes one. That the body of the man works as one entity. And this is part of what, in many teachings, we say that mankind needs to walk away from the behavior of killing. Because if oneself carries that process, the rest can get infected, the rest will receive the information and energy, and they convert. This is why we have strived to create a peaceful man out of the man as totality, because the soul of the creation is one brain, one structure. And we have to make sure that the whole structure carries the message. And this is one of the reasons that in the upcoming positions and conditions which is created with the Keshe Foundation, we start creating conditions that not only the ordinary man, but the world leaders understand there is a need for a total condition of peace, peaceful understanding, behavior, and life, that the humanity as a whole can go to the next step. The responsibility of the future leaders of man is to create that condition that the whole, what we call the brain of the humanity, which is the totality of all the beings on this planet, because man with his intelligence is responsible for totality, works in the same way, in a peaceful way, that allows the peaceful interaction of the soul of the planet with the soul of the universe. Now is not if we come to understand and become part of the universal community as human race, but we as a plant, we as an ant, we as a lion, we as a bird. Then we become responsible for this understanding. It's the burden which we accepted. We called ourselves the king of animals. And the kingship at this level needs justice, needs correct behavior, needs to be equal to all. Don't do what you don't like to be done to. This is part of the process of elevation of the soul of the man. This is part of the elevation of the soul of the human race. And this as a whole is a part of the elevation of the totality of the planet, what we call soul, in respect to the soul of the universe. There's no use treating the cancer in the liver, but the cancer already exists in the brain and the stomach. The cancer of killing, the cancer of destruction, the cancer of destroying whatever is in man's possession, that it will destroy and kill to get more, to steal from another essence of being, because the man is that liver. What about the stomach, which is the plants and the rest? What about the birds, which are the hearts and the rest of us? Now we understand how collectively and individually every soul is responsible to do good, to act good, and to think good. And in that way, it brings the promise of unity in collectively behaving the same. In the coming time, we'll introduce the systems, as we are developing more and more of, to facilitate for more people to be able to create that connection between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man, and then the soul of the human race and the soul of the community of the planet Earth and the soul of the Creator. Jumping from 1 to 2, 3 levels higher is not easy unless you're elevated and understood how to reach the inner sanctums of the energy of the plasma of the soul of the man. In a way, from now on, we start introducing mutual systems, one in the physical and one in the dimension of the soul, that gradually mankind will jump that barrier. Gradually mankind becomes aware of the essence of his creation, his responsibility for his claim to be the best, to be the top of the what we call the structure. Getting to the top has a lot of responsibilities. Being the king of animals has more responsibilities, to be correct, to be just, and to be able to keep that there is no kingship. In so many ways, we reach the pivotal point of connecting the physical dimension of the man to the soul of the man. And in a way, step by step, very, very tender positions and movement bring you as a human race into the dimension of understanding, to feel, to touch not only your soul, but the soul of the planet, to become, to understand that you're responsible for every step you take. In so many ways, mankind from now on, from the teachings we will have the option of the both. And in a way, he has to make an option of both. You have no choice, because the knowledge is rapidly dispersing, and the knowledge rapidly is given to man in different shape and form for him to reach the pivotal point of bringing the soul of the physicality, the soul of the man, and the soul of the planet, and the soul of the universe, and the soul of the creator, all to work at the same time. Now you're aware of it. You are responsible for it. There's no use brushing it on the carpet. This carpet does not exist. The carpet of I do what I like, and the carpet of I create and move everything for the others to pay for my misconduct is over. In so many ways, in truth, the time of Mitra has come. In the future, you will understand and will explain to you what the true Mitra means. The true essence of the creation, to be created as part of the creator. In so many ways, we hear the instructions, but now we have the manual, and we found out that we are part of that manual. We are part of that structure. In so many ways, we cannot deny it. There is no room for me as a human being and animals, that we are all animals. There is no need and there is no room for me being better than the others, as we are all the same, and the same process down the line. We have never seen the creator say, I'm the creator and you're the servants, and do what I say. We serve to be close to, not him, for us to be told what to do. In so many ways, mankind has reached a pivotal point. The ultimate goal of understanding its physical existence and the dimension of its souls, the connection to the universal community, which he always has been part of, but he has always denied. In so many ways, mankind has become a kind of man that he has to decide what kind he wants to be. And then we choose our position, the place and dimension. We stay in a rat race of striving to survive every day on this planet, from pole to post and post to pole, one day after another, or we decide to become part of the bigger community. Now we can travel the span of the universe. We have no need to worry for meager, what are called 1,500 calorie, that 1,500 trillion calories in a small part of the universe is waiting for us. It's us who has chosen the crumb, where the cake has always been on the table. It's us who has decided to live this life, as we denied the rest of the creation and the creator. This is the point where we see some races in the universe evolve very rapidly in the dimension of understanding the totality, as they don't take the direction of the physical life, but they take and understand the fields of the universe which has created them. They never take to the dimension of the physical existence, but they, with their intelligence, become part of the fields of the universe to exist. They are not citizens of a planet or a solar system or a galaxy or a universe. They are part of the existence of the totality of the universe. In the future, mankind will come across many of these, where we see them as lights, where we see them in a condition of interaction with our soul as feelings, emotions, knowledge, beauty. And in that process, mankind will strive to understand that process. That in so many ways, you will appreciate why the human being have the brain. Why is what's the purpose of the brain of man, and how it can be used for the further understanding of the totality. You do not create another brain in the dimension of interaction between your soul and the soul of your friends or the universe. The soul of the man in the dimension of the inner sanctum of his energy, because it's within the magnetic field of the blood of the man, which is in the plasma condition, already exists, already interacts. But we chose the physical interaction of it as a body of the man, instead of choosing the soul and energy side of it as what we call the soul of the universe and unicos and existence. Now mankind become aware of both dimensions. Now mankind become responsible for both, because the interaction and action of the one is responsible for the fields which is transferred to the other that interacts with the rest of the universe, the rest of the universal community. In so many ways, you can take the high road and get yourself on it with a donkey or a car, or you can go on the highway of the soul and the fields of the universe and travel in every dimension and direction. Mankind in the coming time will become very wise to understanding both. And this has been part of our teaching in past times. In the next few weeks, we will start the process of universal peace. In the next few weeks, we will lay down the condition for world peace, and we interact with it. We have opportunity. We use that opportunity as we are given, and we take is to bring what we call the leading nation of the world to be equal to the others. We bring to the world leaders the understanding of a simple fact that there is no superiority in power with guns and arms, but there's a superiority to understand the evolution and understanding of the life of the man in the space of his own soul and dimension of understanding of his own. In the upcoming talks with the Americans, the Russians, and the Chinese, the Iranian leadership will set the new world peace pattern. This is the way we set knowledge in exchange for peace in Vienna talks. Now we take the lead on this. And in that process, we change the direction of the humanity. It's very simple. Americans want access to the nuclear technology of Iran, which is based on the space technology. We ask for peace on this planet, knowledge in exchange for peace. The advancement in nuclear technology has been a tool for us to create the condition of peace. Many of you looked at the pitfalls and everything else in past years, but we looked at it as a position to achieve peace through the condition of understanding of totality. We lead from the front. The knowledge and the technology of the nuclear space technology, using plutonium and uranium for depth of the universe travel, understanding the work of the soul of the man in exchange for totality of disarmament of the mankind on this planet. We will achieve it and we will enforce it. And in that process, the use of clergy, the popes, the Vatican, and the rest has been a way for man to understand that we bring the soul of the man and the physicality of the man and the world leaders together as one. We had a purpose to put the clergy at the top. We had a purpose to show that the soul of the man and the soul of physicality is one, and we bring that position. As we say, they have served the purpose. It is now the time for us to bring the final push, to bring the understanding of the knowledge of the man in respect to the religion and the soul of the man together in one, that we push for the final frontier of peace. We have worked for this for a long time, and now we will achieve it. There is no choice. It's just that the whole thing had to be put to the position that everything we wanted is ready for the final frontier push to reach and achieve peace. When we can deliver thousands of people in the borders and the nations and the capitals of the other, but teaching the totality of human race to do, mankind rapidly will find a solution for peace. Mankind will understand there is an end to the frontiers, and the only frontier for man has to be between himself, his soul, and the soul of his creator. And in that process, within the coming time, the whole of the human race will evolve into a new understanding of grasping, holding, and treasuring the word peace, what it means, peace within the soul of the man and peace within this planet. We see evolution in science and technology will be so rapid that the comprehension of the new understanding becomes easy. We will help, and we work with different governments at the present time to push every nation understanding through the common media and through the soul of the man to a new dimension. I have accepted this responsibility, and at the same time will deliver in Vienna talks the space technologies which the Americans could not even dream. on the table, immediate usage. The same goes for the Chinese leadership and the same for the others. In this way, we destroy the barriers of what we call frontiers of nations. And with it, we enforce peace through understanding and sharing of the technology. We open the knowledge of the nuclear atomic physics of Iran in a space of the dimension of what we call agriculture, health, energy, and the rest in one goal, which we do not allow nations to have time to take advantage of the others, to be superior to the others. For me as a nuclear physicist, I did not become just one. It was a pre-plan exactly where we can deliver the knowledge where we want it. To you, nuclear physics has been something new, but to us it's a billion-year-old knowledge and technology. We knew, and the way we did, to bring collectively the human race to the position of understanding of his own soul, and with it to set example for the rest of the creation and creator in the universe. In so many ways, mankind is under microscope. The behavior of, the understanding of, the way we talk about the history of our ancestors and other things in the universe to speak about mankind and its behavior, and the ancestors that used to have to be the killing machines and now have changed. In so many ways, it'll become ingrained in the totality of the life of the universe that no race will ever be developed, created, and nourished to become a killing machine as the man has become. And in that process, the creator has learned himself of the mistakes of his own actions in believing that everything will be perfect, where in the process of interaction with the fields, some things are out of control, and it took its own shape, but he watched and he controls to understand it, that it will not happen. And the race of the man will be the last race in the universe which shall ever commit to destroy another's soul or another life. And in that process, we had to learn. We had to feel the pain of the man as much as we had to learn about the man himself, how the fields of the emotion within the structure of the brain of the man creates such a condition that cannot be done again. In so many ways, all the teachings, all the knowledge of the man over thousands of years has brought us to this point. We are moving to the final frontier of peace through bringing all the world leaders, all the nations to become one, and we end the kingship. We end the leadership by what I call fear, killing, and the rest. And we couldn't do it any better by allowing the clergy to be head of nations, to show that they are as good and as bad as those who are attached to the physicality. In so many ways, the time has come to say goodbye to both dimensions, both those who abuse the physicality of the man as leadership and those who abuse the soul of the man, abuse it for their own benefit. In so many ways, we set our scene to a brighter future in the coming time. We will lead through the Vienna talks directly to one point: technology in exchange for peace with all the nations at one point, one time. We teach the technology in a rapid way to all the nations, that it becomes impossible for one nation to take advantage of the other. And this is the reason we open our patterns, that there is no pattern exists. The knowledge has to be free to every man according to user's weight, according to his intelligence. In so many ways, I have one clear message. As we told Americans to listen to today's teaching, we come to Vienna for world peace, and we enforce our peace through our knowledge. It's the responsibility of the American administration and the Chinese to accept our conditions, or we teach so rapidly the knowledge of prevention of the nuclear industry, uranium and plutonium, and enrichment to 92%, that allows the futures of the space technology to be guaranteed. Knowledge and technology in exchange for peace, for collective development, not isolated and insulated. I have made this very clear to the Iranian government and the new government to come into position that our talks are very straightforward. Iran, nuclear preparation of the advanced nuclear technology for space in exchange for a total disarmament by all the nations, from the nuclear to sidearms to every other thing which can kill another man. We have the assurances from the Iranian new administration will be part of it. If not, we take position and we deliver ourselves. But we don't see that challenge. We see it as a point that the new upcoming conference in Vienna, the back of the sixth level talks, will lead to the world peace, and we use this position and condition for equal knowledge for all nations. In so many ways, my message to the White House and to Beijing is very simple. The same goes to the Moscow. Attend the Vienna conference. After the new Iranian government takes over, we have a new message of peace. We will deliver to you in the conference. We do not want the conference to last more than 2 weeks, and we do not care about your sanctions, and you will sanction yourself from the knowledge of the creation and the creator. The choice is yours, and the message from Tehran is very clear. We become the messengers of peace and knowledge, and from August on, we take the responsibility fully to deliver this technology. In so many ways, now we have seen the end of one cycle of injustice with the justice. It will be the responsibility of the knowledge seekers and the rest of humanity to understand this and not to abuse it. We will not see the opening of the frontiers, another way to invade another part of the world, to bring in balance the injustice of the past. It will be done, but everything has to be in an orderly manner and in a way that we decide that we all benefit by it. We deliver technologies that is not being seen. We deliver knowledge that is unknown to man today. And with it, we take all of us across the same barrier and the same point. In so many ways, we bring the soul of the physicality of the man, the soul of the man, the religion, and the leadership of the man, all to one point, to one common denominator, to serve each other and not to be separated from each other. It doesn't matter what color you put on the physicality and what name you put on the soul leadership. The churches or the mosques in the name of Islam, Christianity, Judaism, the rest, as they all are in one line, believe in the line of the Creator and equality of the man. In so many ways, I warned the Iranian officials 2 weeks ago that this is a step we take and we shall take in Vienna. And on the other hand, it has to be understood that this comes out of the strength of understanding the technology and not abusing the technology. We have not entered into politics. We have entered into the way of life of what we call existence in the universe. You change it to any politics you like, but there is no tick to it and there is no poly in it. We work very direct and we deliver very direct in the upcoming meetings in Vienna. As the West, as the East, as the Russians and the Chinese will be respected the same as with the Americans. But one point is very clear. The way we see it is the Islamic world, the path of the Prophet Muhammad against the others. Iran has been set example of. Now Iran shows the beauty of Zoroaster in bringing peace and equaling and balancing the rest of the path of the belief and religions to be one.
A ceaseless, unending new technologies. It's like every day we have something new, or we learn something new from you, Mr. Keshe. Perhaps, I don't have a real question, but perhaps you could explain to us, if you so wish, what changes in Vienna when Keshe Foundation participates. As you said that you'll be involved in these talks in Vienna, as most people don't even know what is happening now. Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
The Vienna conference is what we call the sixth round of works, which they are trying to actually clean up the mess which Trump created. We were on course. A lot of things were perfectly on course, what was going on. But President Trump decided through his son-in-law, as he was a Jewish, to give a favor to the Israelis. And he one-sidedly went for his son-in-law to keep his daughter married, as we call it. And he went for Iran and the process of the peace talks with Iran. There was no reason for it. We could have done a lot of things in a different way. But in a way, it's what we call the will of God. It had to be done that way, that we get to the position we are in. And the Vienna talks at the moment is a total halt, because the present government in Iran is in transition to the new one and cannot negotiate. And secondly, it does not receive the backing of the Iranian leadership, as the corruption and fraud within the structure of the negotiation is so huge that we could not control it anymore. Every person knowing it's the last phase of the talks in the administration, they try to milk the Americans from everything they could, as they will get this and that done. But we have to realize Iran sits at one of the biggest contractual sign ever known, in a way, a 400 billion contractual agreement with China, which brings a new phase in Iran, what we call economic opposition, and the Americans are not happy with this. But that brings a huge financial burden on Iran and the next generation, which has to be renegotiated with the Chinese. So the conference in Vienna is not just one-sided. Secondly, we see the massive influence of the Germans in the nuclear industry, which should not be done according to the Second World War agreements, because it brings back to Germany by proxy reaching nuclear technology through Brussels, because they now have found a way to finance through SCK, which is the nuclear arm of the Belgium, into nuclear industry, which is completely illegal against the work of the United Nations. But with the way we see and the way we operate within the conference in the background, as you see us, we cooperated in the 5+1 in the background, we set it up. It'll be that the nuclear technology will be shared amongst all the nations. We don't give advantage to no one. We are not going to spring a surprise on Americans and say we're going to do it. We announced it today as we asked the White House and our people inside the Oval Office connections to ask the White House to listen clearly to the message today. The peace talks with Iran stays resolute and permanent, and we stay correct to it. But as long as it's beneficial to everyone at the same time. You cannot stop the process and progress in science and technology. Iran nuclear technology is far ahead of the Americans in so many ways. But in being ahead has created a fear within the state of Israel that they might be on the next strike. Iran has no animosity with the nation of Israel. The only problem Iran has is what we call the destruction method used for the others using the way of thinking. In so many ways, the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation in this cycle of peace talks will be knowledge and technology in exchange for peace, but we deliver the knowledge on and through the Iranian scientists. We do not want to see the end of the discussions with what we call the group of 7, which is 5+1 plus Iran, and we want to extend this to include Japan. We want to extend this to bring in India into the same. We want to make a bigger group than 5+1, but make it a scientific organization which represents at least 90% of the world population. For this reason, 5+1 has to bring additional forces as a scientific organization to become very much the way we have economical G7 and G20. We become G9, G20 of a scientific organization. This is the aim of the Keshe Foundation through Iranian new government. And we'll lead this way. What you call the G7, the World Economical Leaders Meet, we want to create something like a G10, G20 of the scientific world organization that they see the knowledge spread and shared and balanced amongst all nations. This is the outcome of the 5+1, the way we look at it in Iran. And it will happen only if one gives up first all its rights, but in a fairness that everybody else has it. We have volunteered to do this. We volunteer to share the knowledge of the preparation of the nuclear atomic energy of Iran with the open door policy with the rest of the world, which means we want to show why we are preparing nuclear materials to such a high level. Many of you will understand and understood in the teachings. We need a process to be able to travel the depth of the universe in a different way than today. At the same time, we need to understand the process of maintaining and creating life in that process. One comes from high-level nuclear radiation preparation that we need to do. If you remember, the first Iran space reactor developed in Tehran Sharif University used nuclear-based technology. There are different ways. In the body of the man, we use B12 or B6 to create radiation to sustain life. We cannot use plutonium and uranium. But the B6 and B12 radiation is not strong enough for the space travel to create and maintain long endurance creation of plasma. We need atomic nuclear plutonium plus for maintaining the long, strong fields for deep space travel. And this is in the hand and reach of the Iranian physicist. And we will push with this. So our preparation of the nuclear material has a space development technology, not the weapon which the Americans, with the support of Israelis, have done and created to do. But with this, we create a new dimension. In a way, we create systems that cannot be seen by the present radar. In a way, we can create that literally homebound every naval ship in their base. As I said to a Chinese once, I prefer to see all the American naval warships to become holiday camps, to become pulled ashore and travel people around the world to show, than to go around to kill man. And this we will achieve in the coming months. I assure you, we paralyze every naval base in the world if they're used for killing and terrorizing and everything else. And the army has to serve its nation, and as one nation, armies of the world, naval forces have to support other nations. They should travel without arms, but with equipment to support humanity. This is what we will propose in the Vienna talks to the Americans and the Chinese and the Russians and the rest. We take a different course, and Vienna talks is the changing point. If we do not come to an agreement with the present elected officers of Iran, Keshe Foundation will take its own course to deliver through other channels. But our understanding present time with the Iranian officials is that we will go that way, and we will present. We show the technologies, and we bring people for them to see that the technology is not only in the hand of the government. This is why the workshops. I think when you attend the first space workshop in September, you will see a massive change in knowledge. We open new dimensions. We open new understanding. With it, we invite our officials to come in to see. In so many ways, we can accommodate maybe up to 200 people in this, but with the corona present, it's better for us to do so. We try to keep a space gap, but use the facilities which we have created now in Linz as a every week used center for world scientists to get together. We have our television station there, we have our exhibition there, we have the factory that can just walk through what we call one door and walk from the exhibition into the television center, into conference center, and into the factory. This is the beauty of the new center. It's impressive. And this way, we start spreading knowledge directly through what we call firsthand, through people to people, knowledge seekers, scientists, world scientists to come. We will announce the first scientific conference in a very short time in Rome, in Romania, in Bucharest next week, where we invite the scientists from universities and governments to attend sometime in September. that they see the development, they see the change. And this process has to come. We lead from the front, and we have at this moment the understanding of the Iran newly elected government, and we'll present our technology to according to what it should be done. Do not expect to see the Keshe Foundation in the front line in conferences. We never took the front line unless we are asked to do so. In 5+1, I always took a back seat and had a full understanding and support to give when it was needed. So what we see in Vienna and with what will come from Tehran will be the beginning of peace talks. Iran will walk away from 5+1 totally. We are not negotiating sanctions. We are delivering new technologies that the government sanction themselves from learning it. In a way, financial sanctions against technological sanctions, which we know which one will lose first. When the other countries develop the technology, your sanctions worth nothing. In so many ways, knowledge and technology in exchange for peace was part of the work which we take, and that's why we put immediately the September conference on, and then the following conferences. In the Space Technology Conference of September, we'll invite scientists from NASA, Russian Space Agency, and Iran Space Agency, and the Chinese to attend. This is the responsibility of the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers in the countries. We invite the scientists from Brazil to attend the conference. And in that way, we show them the new change through the governments and through the scientific organization. And we handle this very carefully. We have a beautiful heads of Keshe Foundation who they both are aware of both scientific development and the technological development of the Keshe Foundation, and they're both scientists. We're not bringing somebody from outside. We have the pillars of this Keshe Foundation as knowledge seekers, like Dr. Katwa in agriculture. We have Dr. Parviz in Dubai on the medical side of what we call holistic medicine. We have huge knowledge seekers of great knowledge and prestigious position, which will attend these conferences to bring more and more understanding to the common man and common scientists in universities. We have taken the lead, and this time we'll lead right from the front by sharing knowledge and technology. We have our own television station. We can disperse the knowledge the way we like, and everybody can reach it. And progress has taken time, but now we're in the right place, right time, and the right position. But should be no problem for any of us to be in any, what I call, position to worry what might be the next step, what might be the others, because now we start doing it and delivering it directly through the Keshe Foundation and through understanding of the what we call the technology. And our conference on the 4th and the 5th of September is the beginning of it, and it's on the back of the first meetings of the Vienna talks with the governments of the 5+1. Now we show them alone. Most probably the key people at the conference will attend the Linz Center to see the technology, and they understand what is to come. We use the center at Linz as a position of delivery and showing of the new technologies, and at the same time to be developed and completed in different parts of the Keshe Foundation world.
Mr. Keshe, well, there's a question about this, and I had a question as well. Will